Welcome to Jets Talk. My name is Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, the New York Jets dropped episode 2 of Flight 2023. This was the draft episode talking about the first and second rounds of the selections of Will McDonald and Joe Tippmann. Joe Douglas had a few things to say. Did we learn about 3 particular players the Jets had their eyes on in the first round, and then how the situation came to be? Joe Douglas predicting the Steelers trade. So without further ado, let's jump into the first video clip that I want to talk about, the Jets talking about their top 3 options.
So you go Meyer, McDonald, and Bryce Jones. McDonald, Meyer, Rucker.
And predicting how the board will break is part of the game.
Meyer can go here, McDonald can go there.
So you heard Joe Douglas ask the room what they thought of these 3 players. Obviously, Will McDonald, the edge rusher, Michael Mayer, the tight end, and Broderick Jones, the tackle from Georgia. The guys were talking about this leading up to the Jets draft pick. Now, we don't know when that pick actually was, or when this conversation actually happened, because the next part of this clip sort of says, oh, I think Mayer's going to go here, I think McDonald's going to go there, and then I think Broderick Jones goes at 14. So I think the Jets were anticipating all 3 of these guys going off the board, which leads me to believe they had someone else that they thought was going to be there at number 15. Maybe that was Lucas Van Ness, if you're looking at maybe an edge rusher, outside presence, linebacker kind of I don't know. I think it's interesting to see how this all fell, but to see them rank the guys in order of Will McDonald, Michael Mayer, and then Broderick Jones. And look, I'll be honest, I was pissed that the Jets didn't get Broderick Jones, because I was thinking left tackle, left tackle, left tackle. I was not thinking edge rusher in the slightest. So it's nice to see that the Jets did have these guys ranked in such a way that they did wind up getting their top option of the 3 of these players. Now you get to see the reaction that the Jets had and what Joe Douglas said leading up to the Pittsburgh trade up with the New England Patriots. Here's what they had to say.
Green Bay has submitted its pick. New England is now on the clock.
That's a good one.
New England has traded its pick. Pittsburgh is now on the clock.
So it's kind of cool to see the Jets know that the Steelers were going to trade up with the New England Patriots, or that someone was going to trade up with the New England Patriots. The Patriots trying to screw the Jets out of the tackle that the Jet fans all thought we were going to wind up getting. And to sort of, we heard that story, what was it, earlier this week or last week, where, oh, the Steelers knew the Patriots were going to want to trade out. Bill Belichick wanted to screw over the Jets by having a team leapfrog the New York Jets. And lo and behold, the Jets were not going to take Broderick Jones of the players that were left on the board. Now, you had all 3 available. Obviously, Broderick Jones winds up going 1 pick in front of the Jets. But if the Jets had Will McDonald and then Michael Mayer on their board, they were going to get one of their top 2 guys anyway in this sort of selection. A little concerning because Michael Mayer wound up going at 35. So it feels like there were players that maybe the Jets liked that other players sort of had, or maybe not other players, but other teams or fans or scouting sites or whatever had maybe slightly lower. I think I saw a lot of Mayer and Will McDonald in the mid-20s or so, but it tells me that the Jets were clearly looking to upgrade the tight end room in some capacity. You know, we already have Conklin and Uzama under contract. You have Ruckert, who you drafted last year. So to put that much emphasis that you were going to use a first-round pick on a tight end, it's interesting to see. I would not have thought the Jets were going to go that tight end route. I'm glad they went the edge rusher route. I'd much rather go the premium position. I think if they had gone tight end, I might have lost my marbles a little bit. I actually liked Kincaid of all the bunch, but just drafting a tight end in the first round is incredibly risky. You look at like the last 10 years of tight ends taken in the first round, or the first tight end taken off the board, and it's generally not super attractive. This is a position you want to try and target in the middle rounds. But the Jets wind up with Will McDonald. This guy's super lengthy. He's going to swat the ball out of quarterbacks' hands. You're going to get those fumbles, those strip sacks. He may be more of a situational pass rusher at the beginning part of his career, but I think when you look at the guys that are not under contract, like Carl Lawson and Bryce Huff after this year, you needed to try and think 2 years ahead and really be prepared for that type of loss. I think McDonald, getting him where we got him, with the Jets seemingly thinking that he was going to go in front of the New York Jets. That makes me feel really good, and I think we really did get a top player on our board. The next part that I thought was interesting was the selection of Joe Tippmann and how they were kind of ranking the centers. Now, listen to this one part at the beginning. We'll play both parts. One seemingly before the second round or maybe early in the draft process in some capacity prior to draft day. I don't really know when this first part is taken. But then they show the next part where they're in the brightly lit room and Joe Douglas is wearing the different colored shirt and it's on draft day and they're talking about Joe Tippmann and some other centers.
How did the room have this guy and Mock?
I had this guy.
I had Joe Quick.
Joe. Tippmann.
How about this guy and Michael Schmitz?
I had this guy.
Joe
Tippmann. He's not had this guy for.
Oh, you guys are Tippmann. How do you guys have Tippmann?
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting stuff to hear. You heard a lot of Jet fans really like John Michael Schmitz, the center out of Minnesota, but there was a lot of talk about Joe Tippmann in the Jets war room. And then even up until the day of the pick, Joe Douglas is asking, what do you think about Tippmann? What do you think about Cody Mauch, the center guard from North Dakota State? Is that right? I think it's North Dakota State. So it seemingly looked like the Jets had those two guys at the top of their board, and John Michael Schmitz was a little bit lower. So fans, shows how much we know, right? You can't doubt this dude that has had a pretty good draft track record so far. And for the whole room to seemingly really like Tippmann and kind of hold that same stance getting closer to the draft, they talk about his speed, they talk about his length, they talk about his leadership, they talk about his flowing locks as well. But I really like this. I like that the Jets went into both the first round and second round. And look, I know Flight 2023, it's going to be a very Jet-centric thing. It's going to be a little bit more of a hype video than maybe some critical analysis. But based on the clips that I'm looking at, it looked like they got the guys that they did want, because seemingly center was going to be a big need in the second round. I think Jet fans were happy to go that direction. The edge rusher, the fascination for me is Joe Douglas calling out the Pittsburgh trade up with New England, not caring that Broderick Jones went, because I definitely thought the Jets were caught with their pants down when that happened. I know when that selection was made, I was like, oh, we screwed up. We traded down and we lost everything. Well, goes to show what I actually know. So Joe Douglas gets Will McDonald and gets Joe Tippmann. The Jets seem very happy with these two young rookies. I'm super excited about this. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you like the Jets selection of Will McDonald more now that you know the Jets were not interested in Broderick Jones? How are you feeling about the Jets draft overall? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.